of the Fergus Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. We're celebrating our 135th anniversary this year. And to kind of roll back the clock a little bit, or the calendars a little bit, the city of Fergus Falls was a teenager, 14 years old. Grover Cleveland was president, and Dr. John Stith Pemberton discovered and created a carbonated beverage, later to be called Coca-Cola. This is the time when the Fergus Falls Chamber was incorporated in the city of Fergus Falls. Of course, the city of Fergus Falls at the time was the coming city of the Northwest. And 16 businessmen gathered, including notables Wright, Barrows, Brown, Compton, Burnham, and others, incorporated the Fergus Falls Chamber, and they wrote in the original Articles of Incorporation, dated August 4th, 1886. Now, you probably can't read the screen, so I'll read it for you. The general objects and purposes of this incorporation are to facilitate the buying and selling of all products, to inculcate principles of justice and equity in trade, to facilitate speedy adjustments of business disputes, to acquire and disseminate usable commercial information in the furtherance of their legitimate business pursuits, and to advance the general prosperity and business interests of the city of Fergus Falls. Now, other than facilitating speedy adjustments of business disputes, our mission remains incredibly similar. That we won't get into. We've also been known as the Chamber of Commerce, the Civic and Commerce Association, the Fergus Falls Chamber, a number of different names. And all along the way, we have worked with the city of Fergus Falls to continue to grow our community. And we're thrilled with that partnership. So as I mentioned, in the 30s, we were known as the Civic and Commerce Association. They worked on activities such as the Queen of the May Days, a Pancake Day, and the Rural School Christmas Carol Singing Contest. And in 1936, V.H. Sprague, president of the Civic and Commerce Association, who I understand was a Kiwanian, I learned that last week, he writes a summary of the association which still rings true today. This is in the annual report from 1936. The chief value of the association is an organization representing every phase of business in the city, ready to act on any problem or activity affecting the business or general welfare of the city. In the 40s, of course, we were gravely affected by World War II, and the Civic and Commerce Association sold war bonds for the Retailers for Victory campaign, while sharing positive messages of recovery. The president of the chamber, O.U. Haberstad, pens a letter in the 1942 annual report. No doubt hard years lie ahead, but I am not discouraged because we are living in a fine agricultural community, and I am sure when the war is over, our citizens will return, our buildings will again be occupied, and businesses will be better than ever. Sounds appropriate for today, doesn't it? We kind of feel like we've been through a war in the last year and a half. Some of the activities the Chamber worked on as the Chamber of Commerce in the 1950s. In 1955, they built their headquarters, which is across the street from us here at 202 South Court Street, for a sum of $12,000. They also worked on illuminating downtown with the White-Way streetlights. Little familiar discussions that we've had recently. They led the United Fund Drive, which in my research sounds a little bit like the United Way, and also hosted fishing contests, promoted tourism, and worked on the development of Interstate 94 and also industrial work. In the 70s and 80s, the city of Fergus Falls had a contract with the Chamber to pursue economic development work. We worked on issues related to the state hospital and bringing the college to Fergus Falls. There were retail promotions such as old-fashioned bargain days and 5 for Fergus, which some people I think still remember. Also did work with tourism and resorts, hosted the Scandinavian Days festivals, and one of the most unique things that the Chamber worked on that I wish we could do this now, but the reverse is going on. In the 70s and 80s, they had a student employment service where they matched 350 high school students who were looking for work with businesses. Now we have the opposite going on, where we are working with the businesses to try to find them employees, whether it's high school students or other employees. So times have changed a little bit, but the work remains very similar. In the 1990s and into early 2000s, the Chamber worked on Frostbite Festival and Scandinavian Days Festival. At the time, there were some housing incentives where the chamber gave out Fergus bucks for those who were building new homes. So again, the programs seem to re-emerge in different ways. During this time, they launched the Battle of the Businesses bowling tournament, hosted a governor's fishing opener, worked on fundraising for the Central Lakes Trail, and had about 200 members. And I've passed out some information that has some annual reports, some photographs, and different things for you to look at. And one of the things that I found that in the 1990s and 2000s, the chamber was facing some financial difficulties. Were taking out loans for operating expenses, to pay staff, a lot of reductions in pay and things like that. So wasn't a great time to be a part of the chamber. In fact, there were only about 200 members of the chamber back in those times. As we move into the early 2000s, this new thing was launched called a website, fergusfalls.com, which at the time, I think they thought it was something that they maybe should do, but, kind of not going to last, but it has lasted. In fact, we have nearly 1 million visits to fergusfalls.com every year, and a lot of information that's there, as well as a business directory, job postings, special events, and things like that. There are a number of Fergus Bucks promotions that went on, as well as a variety of activities, and the Central Lakes Trail fundraising and production of the trail was completed during that time. Membership was up to about 270 members in the early 2000s. And as we move into from 2010 on to today, some of the things that we've worked on are increasing the benefits for our members, especially for marketing and networking for them to help build their businesses. We've strengthened our legislative advocacy as far as working with our members to represent their interests. We've got retail promotions going on, kind of changed up a little bit to Shop, Move, and Groove and Shop, Drop, and Win. We continue to host a golf and bowling tournament. We've been known for the Taste of Fergus Falls for many years, and over the last year and a half, we've worked, really shifted gears and worked on COVID recovery and workforce, trying to attract workforce to our area and match workers with businesses. And again, during this time, we were thrilled to work with the City of Fergus Falls when the city came out with the CARES Act grants for small businesses and nonprofits. We were, happy to help them navigate the process, and we were thrilled with the city's generosity in giving funds back to the business community and back to the nonprofits to help them survive the effects of the shutdown and the pandemic and the loss of business. So we are absolutely thrilled with that. In addition to that, we are grateful for the support of the city in giving the chamber a grant through the CARES Act, which allowed us to continue to promote retail and restaurant, especially a number of the businesses that were shut down during the COVID. Those are typically the restaurants that would sponsor, and it was nice to be able to promote them without having to ask them for sponsorship dollars. So thank you again for the grant to the chamber just last year. Again, we worked with businesses. So far, we've tracked over $1.7 million that was received to local businesses and nonprofits through the work that we've done. And it wasn't just us. It was a barrage of people who've helped businesses work on receiving grants. But navigating the programs, everything from PPE to PPP to the EIDL loans to the CARES Act to you name it, there's, kind of grant of the week. And navigating all those pages and pages, especially for a business, can be difficult while they're still trying to operate their business. So we've worked together. We've worked together to continue, and we will. We've been doing that for the past 135 years, and we'll continue doing things like celebrate new businesses. 37 new members joined the chamber in the past year. We're up to 375 members, with more than 400 if you count each location. So a lot of our members have several locations or several businesses. That's amazing, and that says a lot about the city of Fergus Falls, as well as the support that the residents are giving our local businesses. We're excited to celebrate, again, grand openings, ribbon cuttings, expansions. And of course, we're more than just passing out plaques and cutting ribbons. We do a lot of work behind the scenes, whether it's with workforce, being an advocate for our members behind the scenes, whether it's at a local, a state, or a federal issue that's affecting their ability to do business. In fact, we're the voice of business, and we're happy to get their input for you as you make difficult decisions, especially those that affect the business community. We're thrilled to survey our members and find out if they're in support of a local option sales tax, to fund a community arena, to fund a library renewal project, or to fund whatever that next project may be. We've got over 375 members. Their voice is important, and collectively we can bring that voice to you to help you make decisions. One point of interest that I thought was fantastic when we did the math to figure out how many dollars in Fergus bucks, in 2020 the community came together and purchased over $140,000 in Fergus bucks to help with COVID relief, to help those businesses sustain, and all that money stays right here in Fergus Falls. So we were pleased to announce that. We've got we're back up to a full-time professional staff. We've got 3 full-time employees, 1 part-time employees, and we are dedicated. We are probably the biggest fans of Fergus Falls, next to you guys, of course, that you'll probably see. So we're happy to continue to promote the community. And we just wanted to share with you, too, that we are not only working on today, but we're working for the future. We engaged with North Point professionals out of Battle Lake this spring. We gathered a group of chamber members, non-chamber members, new community members, veteran community members to discuss where the chamber should go now and into the future. We surveyed our members. We surveyed people within the community. We had some great conversations, some very candid conversations to determine what we should be in the future. And we've set 7 strategic initiatives that we wanted to share with you today as we look forward to, we've been working with the city of Fergus Falls for 135 years, and we hope that continues for the next 135 or more years. So our strategic initiatives for 2022 and beyond are to continue to promote local commerce, to ramp up those efforts through effective marketing, to enhance our workforce strategies, to grow relationships between our businesses and between members, to improve the return on investment for our members, to leverage those government liaisons, those partnerships, whether they're at the local, state, or federal level, to pursue clarity and distinction among other organizations that may be confused with the Chamber of Commerce and others, and to facilitate community vitality. We know one thing is important that the Chamber has done over the last year and a half through COVID is to keep spirits up, to keep people thinking positively, and we want to continue to do that. So again, I thank you for allowing me to come in and share 135 years quickly with you of the Chamber of Commerce, and look forward to many more years of working together. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for the positive energy that you and your staff bring to the community and all the work that you do on behalf of the businesses. Does anyone have any questions for Lisa? Thanks so much.
Thank you
Lisa.
so much.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Joint Planning Commission City Council Zoning Code Subcommittee, and we'll call on our city planner, Karen Flom. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Your Honor and City Council members. Thank you. I am here today. The Planning Commission is requesting to form a joint subcommittee, ideally with 2 members of the Planning Commission and 2 members of the City Council, to study a potential ordinance change. So just to backtrack a little bit with the history for the reason for this subcommittee, over the summer, a community organization, Welcome House, was looking to purchase a single-family detached home and to operate some transitional housing. They ran into an issue with our zoning code that limits 5 unrelated members living together, and they were looking to have anywhere between 8 or more people living in the home. And so they were not able to purchase that specific property due to those limitations. But the Planning Commission is interested in exploring some ways that this housing type could be accommodated, what limitations would be appropriate for that housing type, where it could go. And according to the city attorney in consultation, the City Council will need to authorize that subcommittee, just due to the nature of the Planning Commission already being essentially a subcommittee of its own. And then it would be great if 2 members of the city council would be interested in volunteering, just to have that voice and perspective on that subcommittee. And then the ordinance proposal would still go through that normal process of going through the planning commission and ultimately coming before the city council. This would just sort of assist in doing the ordinance update in a more timely fashion. The planning commission only meets once a month. It's a little bit of a complex topic to try and do piece by piece, in 10 to 15 minutes in a regular planning commission meeting. So I'm available for any questions that you might have, or if anyone would be interested in volunteering.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. If anyone's interested, otherwise I think council members Kwame and Fish might be logical.
I was going to make that recommendation, Your Honor. I think they'd be well suited for that.
Good move, Your Honor. Someone like to recommend that to make a motion to recommend council members Kwame and Fish?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you,
Pay them
Brent.
bills.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries to the council. Thank you, Karen. You've got
you.
your subcommittee.
Voluntold.
All right, item number 3.
So you snooze, you lose.
Public Improvement 9768 change order. City Engineer Brian Ybarra. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Your Honor, and members of the council. What you have included in your packet is the change order, prevailing wages change order. It's pretty lengthy in numbers. There's all the change order itself, which has been signed by the city's consultant, Bolton Mink, and also Comstock Construction. And all the other supplemental information associated with that change order is in there. So I'm going to turn it over to representatives from Bolton Mink to kind of talk you through the process and everything and where we're at in regards to this change order. So.
Thank you. Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Kevin Bittner with Bolton and Mink. I'm also here with Kent Lawaji, also with Bolton and Mink. And obviously, we introduced the topic of the change order at a council meeting a few weeks ago. And we've been discussing this at smaller meetings. And as Brian indicated, the change order is in your packet. It has been approved in the amount of around $662,000. Just from the perspective of Bolton and Mink's participation in this change order, we are committed to making this change order whole by reducing our budget and withholding our invoices for this current phase of the project, and also to fully cover the cost of the change order that would also extend into the next phase of this project. And so that is our commitment to the city. We want to bring this to a satisfactory conclusion for the city, and so that we can put this behind us, put together a great project that you have going, and continue on with the next phase as well. So that's our commitment to the city. If we have any detailed questions, Kent is also here. He's been kind of the front line in negotiating this change order with Comstock. So if you have any questions, would be happy to take them. So.
Thank you. Kevin, council have any questions for Kevin or Kent this morning? Would someone like to make a motion that we give this recommendation for this change order to the council?
Offer, Your Honor.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Brent. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you, Mayor.
Kevin. Item number 4, same public improvements, 9768, and it's the phase 1 downspout connections, I believe. Sorry, I was searching for
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yes, no, based on past conversation with the city council, it was a request to secure pricing for additional downspout connections that would serve downspouts for the businesses adjacent to the project currently under construction. Comstock submitted a pricing in amount of $3,874.50 per connection. In general, the work consists of the excavation through all the utilities and all the other unsuitable material. We would core drill into the storm sewer pipe. We would do an inserted T, which is a watertight connection, into the existing pipe, and then we come out with a 6-inch lateral pipe and riser, followed by a surface-mounted grate to cover. This would allow the downspout connection to the desired location. I know staff and members from Bolton Mink have been meeting with some of the residents, business owners and that to determine the exact locations. So at this time, where I'm estimating there's approximately 5 downspout connections for a total of about $19,372. We're proposing this work be funded through the Storm Sewer Enterprise Fund, which I believe it's an eligible expense. And I also do understand that the pricing too seems reasonable in my opinion. So at this time, I'm requesting to accept proposal request number 4, building spout connections in amount of $3,874.50 per connection.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone have any questions? Someone like to make a motion, we recommend this to the council?
I'll offer that.
Thanks, Krista.
Second.
Thank you, Tom. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item number 5 is the Westridge Mall Agreement. And again, Brian Uvarro.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. If you recall at the last meeting, representatives from Westridge Mall were at the October 4th City Council meeting, and their general request is to omit the water and sanitary sewer separations for the new platted area that Westridge Mall is seeking to sell to another owner. So what you have included in your packet is an addendum 1 to the development contract. This memorializes the requested action from the developer if the council desires to move in this direction. This in general requires the owner of Westridge Mall and to enter into an operational easement agreement for this work. Also included is an easement for the domestic water valve access shutoff. Is what we determined just recently in the past few weeks is the city, if somebody's delinquent on payments or things of that nature, the city cannot simply just close the gate valve, which is a water shutoff at the right of way for the mall. This would impact fire suppression system, which is not a good thing. So myself and the building official did visit, gained access to the mall and reviewed the system, and we determined that the domestic water system could be isolated versus a fire suppression system. This would only be within water utility room in the mall. Therefore, that's why this easement access agreement was drafted that the developers are willing to enter into, to my understanding, grants a city legal access anytime if we do happen to want to close off the domestic water system. So I believe the city attorney has reviewed this documentation. It's up for the council for further discussion if they want to proceed with this amendment and as well as the easement for this access to this water utility room.
Thank you, Brian. So, anyone have questions for Brian? Brent?
No.
Oh, make the motion to request.
I have a quick question. after.
Yeah, you bet. Brent and Caroline, thank you. Go ahead, Tom.
Just out of curiosity, I've always heard a rumor that there's a basement under the mall. Does the mall have a basement?
You know, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
We've toured it a
rumor
few
continues.
times, but I'm unaware.
Okay.
I guess I could talk to the building official, but I've had limited throughout the.
If you find out, let me know. I think inquiring minds need to know that.
Okay.
Okay.
Any
Thank you.
other pressing questions for Brian? Just kidding. All in favor of that motion to bring this to the council, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Item number 6 is a facade loan for TG Properties, and we'll call on our Community Development Manager, Clara Beck. Good morning, Clara.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and council members. Thank you. Yep, these are, we've got a loan recommendation from Business Development for Fergus Falls. They are requesting that council approve a facade loan in the amount of $5,560 to TG Properties. It's a mental health facility that is going to be opening in downtown Fergus Falls. They recently purchased a building. And they are going to be doing some renovations. The city of Fergus Falls will be, this is an update to your memo, will be in 3rd position on the loan. West Central Initiative is funding the majority of their build out. So they'll be in 2nd position, and then Northwestern Bank will be in 1st position. So my request is that you send this to the consent agenda for Monday.
Thank you, Clara.
I'll offer that, Your Honor.
Thank you, Anthony.
I'll second.
Thanks, Caroline. Any questions for Clara? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Should just add, this is obviously going to fill an empty building downtown, so it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Big win for the team.
That's right. Thank you, Anthony. And last on the agenda is an economic development loan, and again, we'll call on Clara Beck.
Yes, thank you. At this same meeting, BDFF also recommended approval of a loan to the flour mill, which is another staple of our downtown. They've been having some roof problems, and they're looking for some help financing a roof project to help their store from leaking. They have to have buckets on the floor when it rains, and it's not great for their business, and they want to continue operating. So BDFF says, yep, this is a good use of revolved loan funds, and requests that council approve and send to the consent agenda for Monday.
Thank you, Clara.
I love that again, Your Honor.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Krista. Anything to add, Anthony?
Yeah, again, and we should just add that this business has also taken on board the glass business that's downstairs as well. So again, it's another expanding business downtown.
Absolutely. Thanks, Anthony. All in favor of bringing this to the council on Monday, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That motion carries. Lynn, any announcements other than 4 o'clock work session on Monday? On Monday, the 18th? Anyone else have anything to bring before the council? No, we're adjourned.
That's a first.